What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So it's been a month already since we saw the gameplay reveal of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, and I think that right now there is only just one topic left that I haven't really talked about too much yet, and it's arguably one of the most important things that we came to know from watching this gameplay demo, and that is of course that Nathan Drake seems to have a brother, which is a major plot point that we all didn't see coming, and it's never really been referred to in any of the previous Uncharted games. So what I'm pretty much going to do in this video is talk about everything you need to know about this guy, what we know so far, and also a few theories of mine where I think the story is going to be going, especially, you know, related to this relationship between Drake and his brother. So yeah, I mean, let's just get into it. First of all, of course, you might all remember that the gameplay demo ended with Drake, who came face to face with this guy who we had not seen before in any of the previous Uncharted games, and then revealed himself to be Drake's bigger brother, until the camera kind of like pans up and we see the big Uncharted 4 logo, leaving us all with the question of who exactly is this guy, why did we not know of him before? Now, what we know so far is that he is voiced by Troy Baker, and I think it's just obvious at this point, it's totally clear that he replaced Todd Stashwick, who we all knew kind of like as the voice of the very first reveal trailer of Uncharted 4, which was back in November of 2013, so that's already over a year ago.
I lost 15 years. Buried alive, erased. You left me, rotting in that hellhole, and never looked back.
You know, at that point we didn't really know yet, is this guy actually somebody who's talking about Drake? Is he talking about a certain character from the past, like people thought about him being Francis Drake, or a certain explorer, Henry Avery for example was a name that popped up everywhere. Was this guy talking about something ancient, or was he talking about the real time and actual Uncharted characters? That's what we didn't know at that point. Right now of course Todd Stashwick left the project together with Amy Hennig, and it's just pretty clear at this point that Troy Baker pretty much took over his role after everything that happened, and it's especially revealing that when you see kind of like these old pictures that Todd Stashwick used to post, where you saw him kind of like reaching out with his hand, kind of like saying, come on, let me help you, or something like that, I think it was. It's clear now that that was of course, Nathan Drake's brother trying to help him, and it totally kind of like relates to everything we saw so far in this demo. So then a minor, but maybe for some of you actually an important part is, what is his actual name? Now, the thing is, we haven't really heard Drake mention his name in this thing. At least we can't say for certain, because at some point I think his brother says like, I almost shot your head off, and then Drake says something in the form of same, I did the same thing.
I nearly shot your head off. Sam, you're okay.
But some people think he said Sam, some people think he said Stan. He was actually, mentioning the name here. We actually don't know at this point. I see a lot of gaming news sites referring to his brother now as Sam, but there is just no confirmation of that yet. We don't know what his actual name is. We don't know his name yet. Stan definitely seems like a name that suits the character more than Sam does, but those are all just questions for now. So then another thing is of course that with Uncharted 3 we saw how Naughty Dog kind of like was trying to go a little bit out of the ordinary and kind of like reveal a few things about Drake that we didn't really expect from him or know from him, being of course that his actual name is not Nathan Drake, and it seemed so obvious that this was something they were going to continue in this next Uncharted game. We were going to find a little bit more out about his past, what exactly happened with his mother who died and his father who left him in that orphanage, and now this brother of him who we at this point didn't know of yet actually at all. So that's quite interesting. And of course, I mean, from that very first teaser trailer where we heard of Todd Stashwick and we heard of this new character, I said, I think in that very first explanation video that I did, that I expected it to be somebody close to Nathan Drake, an actual relative or something. At that time I think I said I expected him to be Drake's dad, and it's actually quite funny how it turned out to be pretty close to that. It was his brother of course. But I think another thing that is pretty clear at this point is that this brother is ultimately gonna turn on Nathan Drake. And I think, you know, we've seen a lot of characters in the past in the Uncharted series, you know, pretty much switch sides, like Harry Flynn and Charlie Cutter and stuff. It's something that Naughty Dog does a lot, and I don't know, I just have this feeling that this brother of Nathan Drake is going to turn on him at some point. And he also has that kind of like evil look. He does not look like a good guy, let's be honest there. I think a lot of you will agree on that. One thing that I also want to point out quickly is that he looks a lot like Todd Stashwick, which once again just contributes to the fact that I think this character was originally played by him and is now taken over by Troy Baker because Stashwick left the project. So yeah, that is really the question. Is this guy going to turn on Drake or not? Is he going to help him throughout the entire game? And then what actually is the plot going to be about? Looking and listening to the teaser trailer, it seemed pretty clear right now that he is talking about Drake and how he wants to take revenge on him. So then it seems to be pretty obvious that at one point or another he's going to turn on Nathan Drake. And what that whole storyline is going to lead to is going to be very interesting. It's also something that ever since the E3 trailer, Naughty Dog put up a kind of like description for the game where they said that this Uncharted game was going to test Nathan Drake's physical limits and kind of like where he would or what he would be willing to sacrifice to save the ones he loves. And I think that makes it pretty clear that the stakes are going to be very high here and that this brother might, you know, go out for ultimate revenge, probably by maybe even you know, kind of like trying to get Drake where he really lives, which of course is his, you know, his friends like Sully and Elena and those kind of characters. So yeah, once again, going to be very interesting. And a final thing I wanted to talk about is the supposed flashback theory, because you might remember from watching the E3 trailer of Uncharted 4: Thieves End, we saw how Drake looked a lot older and a lot more like he had all of these bruises and scars and he was wounded and stuff. But at the same time, he showed these small gray hairs and stuff. Like he looked quite significantly older from all the previous Uncharted games, and that made people think that this game was going to take place in the future, you know, like quite a bit ahead of time. So maybe like, you know, 5 years or something like that. And in this gameplay reveal, you know, Drake is supposedly having the same kind of like character model as he does in those cutscenes, but you didn't really see those gray hairs. Like he looked completely normal actually. Yeah, he looked a little different, but that's just the power of the PS4. He did not look as old as he did in that E3 trailer. So it makes people think, and that is one of the big theories out there right now, that this is actually supposed to be a kind of like flashback sequence, and that ultimately this brother will turn on him, and then we're going to see that part which we saw in the E3 trailer, where Drake is a lot older and has to kind of like, you know, go after his brother probably or something like that, and is returning to that same place where they were, you know, in this gameplay reveal. But these are all just theories for now. I think it's just all very interesting, and there's a lot of possibilities here. Once again, I think that the bar is just going to be set so high with this game that we're once again going to be blown away by the storyline. I think they're going to take it one step further. And all in all, it's proving itself to be a very, very interesting storyline. I cannot wait to see where exactly they're going to be going with this. So, with a lot of these theories out there right now, I want to know from you, what do you think is exactly going to happen? Do you think Nathan Drake's brother is going to turn on him eventually? What do you think this game is going to be completely about? Yeah, and then with that being said, once again, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then for now, I would like to thank you a lot for watching. And hope to see you again next time.